My friends and I visit San Juan in Puerto Rico on a very frequent basis. It's usually at least 10 people, but this year we went as a group of 7, 3 guys and 2 married couples. We always get a huge Airbnb house and we make sure it's by the beach. When we are in San Juan, we usually stay 2 to 3 weeks. We do Bible study, we go to the beach, we go to restaurants, and we stay up late almost every day just to get high and enjoy each other's company. This time we wanted to do something different. I looked up the islands around Puerto Rico. Obviously, the big names popped up right away, such as the Virgin Islands and so on. There was an interesting island called Culebra that I wasn't able to find a lot of information on. Of course, I found a couple of YouTube videos, but there wasn't any hype around it, although it looked beautiful. I quickly started researching how to get there. Culebra Island is only reachable by ferry or plane. The plane ticket is very cheap and it takes 15 minutes to fly there once you are in Puerto Rico, so we decided to give it a shot. It was our second day in Puerto Rico. We left early in the morning to catch our plane. Once we arrived, we noticed that it was a very small airplane that could barely take 10 people. It was a lot of fun but kinda scary. And there we go. In 15 minutes we landed on Culebra Island. We rented 2 jeeps and started heading towards the Airbnb. It was a huge house right next to the ocean. We explored the island but everything was closed for whatever reason. We went to the beach but that was pretty much it. We made ourselves some dinner and shortly after we all went to bed. I shared a room with 2 of my friends and I was on the top of the bunk bed. The humidity on the island was very high and it was very hot on top of that, which woke me up around 3 a.m. I wanted to turn down the AC to as low as possible. As I was getting off the bunk bed, I immediately noticed that my friend was not under me anymore. I quickly looked at the other bunk bed and I haven't seen my other friend either. I was like, what the heck? Maybe they are outside. But I remember they were super tired, so there is no way. I went outside to the living room and I noticed that everyone's shoes is still by the main door, so they must be here somewhere. I went outside the porch, checked the garage, front and backyard, and I found no one. But the cars were still there, so I was totally confused. I called one of my group members, but his phone was turned off. Eventually, I called everyone else, but all went to voicemail. This is where things started to get really creepy. I didn't know what to do, so I just went outside the porch and started vaping and watching TikTok videos. After 20 minutes, I noticed the car coming towards the house. I wasn't able to see what kind it is, I only saw the lights. I put my phone in my pocket and started staring at the car as it was approaching. It stopped about 50 feet away from me and I waited to see who is gonna get out. The person who got out looked about 6 feet 7 and I instantly knew that this was someone else that I wasn't expecting. I asked, "Who is this?" but there was no response. Then I said, "Hello?" Still no response. He was just standing right next to his car staring at me. All of a sudden, this individual started running towards me at full speed. My fight or flight instinct kicked in and I ran back to the house and locked the door immediately. Then I ran upstairs into our room and locked that door too. I checked if the window can be opened in case this freak breaks through all doors. Keep in mind that at this point I was upstairs, standing next to the same bunk bed I woke up from, and I still was able to hear this freak banging on the main door, while he was screaming literally like a child. I made sure my phone was still with me, and not even a minute later I heard some glass breaking downstairs. I knew that he most likely was able to get in somehow. I knew that he still needed to break through another door, but I didn't want to wait for it. I went to the window and was ready to jump into the woods and run for it if I have to. At this point, I heard him running upstairs. Then I heard him going into the other room where one of the other married couples was supposed to sleep in. Obviously it was empty. I knew my room was next. One of my legs was out of the window and I was ready to jump, but I stopped hearing the noises. Once this freak went into the other room, the noises just stopped. I waited about 5 minutes. I was still sitting in the window. I tried calling the police, but as my hands were shaking so much that I accidentally dropped my phone and it fell on the wrong side, into the woods. I couldn't believe it. I was still scared and I didn't move for over an hour. The sun started rising and I began to hear my friends' voices. One of them tried to enter the room, but he couldn't get in. I unlocked the door and asked him where the heck were they, and if they see another car in front of the house. He said they were on the beach and no, there was no one else anywhere near the house other than them. I filled the group in on what happened and they told me that it's best to leave the island as soon as possible.